Today is Good Friday, at least in the calendar sense. The reality is that every day is not only Good Friday, but also Easter Sunday, the resurrection. The true reality is none of it ever had to happen, but it's all it's about. To be honest, Easter never was really important to me. And I was an altar boy. It just meant that, hey, I was going to be dressed up and go to a very long sermon and mass. But about a couple of years ago, my journey back to Christ awakened. The torch was lit, and in the leading up to last year's Easter, it was like a lightning bolt that struck me, and I could envision the whole process of Good Friday and what Jesus endured. Jesus endured a demoralization, a physical destruction of the body. He was lashed where his body and his skin and his muscles were torn apart. He had a crown of thorns on his head, piercing his skin, and you have the metaphor of the wooden cross that he was crucified on, bringing us all the way back to the tree from which the apple was picked, the Garden of Eden. He had the piercing of the spear in the side to bring him back to Eve, who was made from the rib of Adam. And he endured hours of pure torture without surrender, without lashing out in pain, without begging for mercy. The only reference he had about what he had to do was moments before his human death, where he cried out, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" This is what you have to understand. When Jesus became the Christ, anything human did not apply to him. He performed miracles. He was a miracle. The body did not matter to him. That's why you could tear it apart. You could nail him to a cross and pierce his side. The only thing that mattered to Jesus were those hours of time that he had to separate from God. Those hours on the cross were just him being man. And for him to die, he had to die of this world instead of being the Christ. So he was on that cross as a man. And the only thing that pained him or hurt him was being separate from God, not being one with God at that brief time. Think about that. The only thing that mattered to Jesus was the pure love of God, his oneness with God. And no matter what he had to go through, the only thing that mattered was that he had to separate from that to do what was needed to be done, to do this metaphorical salvation, forgiveness of our sins. And here we are now in this world, so distracted and so separate, that we find it difficult to be connected to God. Oh, sure, we'll get dressed up and we'll go to Easter Mass and we'll rejoice that he is risen. Rejoice that he is risen. And then we'll have some spiral ham and we'll do an Easter egg hunt and we'll watch some bunny hop, eat some chocolate. And then there's Monday. We talk about, in the Course, seeking salvation. Forgiving. But even this is just an emptying out of this worldly mind, this dream world, so that we can come back to being one with God. Good Friday is exactly that, because it gives you, in this worldly mind, reassurance that God, in this worldly mind, forgives us of our sins and we can go to heaven. And when you go within and you connect with your pure essence, the oneness of God, and realize that you are one with God, you realize that the metaphor isn't necessary. And the only important thing that comes out of the story of Good Friday, at least to me, is that Jesus only suffered when he had to lose his connection to God to be enough of this world to save everyone. It's amazing. We say it's so hard to find God in our lives. And his hardest problem was that he had to let go. And we have to let go. We have to let go of this worldly dream. And we have to shower love upon everyone, because we are only showering love upon ourselves. And that symbolism of dying on the cross to wash us clean and for us to rise into heaven was Jesus saying, "Follow me." Remove yourself of this world. Remove yourself of this separation and be one with Christ. And I'm not saying, do something drastic. I'm saying free yourself from the binds of this world and then live this world as Christ would live this world. With love, with humility, helping all, blessing all, and loving all. That is what Easter's about. When you connect with your inner self, then you can spread love around. And then all are resurrected. Happy Easter.